Hello and welcome to today's Revisited. Today we're talking about the effects of one of the world's most destructive and costliest natural disasters, a hurricane in which nearly 2,000 people died. Hurricane Katrina began over the Bahamas in August 2005 as a depression, but it soon became a tropical storm. She crossed Florida, really strengthened in the Gulf of Mexico, before hitting land again, the destruction incredible right along the coast. Worse hit was New Orleans, as a series of key levees or dikes simply failed and water poured into the city. It swamped inland, eventually flooding 80% of New Orleans in waters that did not subside for weeks. As the storm hit, estimates say 4/5 of people had already fled, but many remained in their homes or in special centres. The roof of the Louisiana Superdome was severely damaged. Over 15,000 people left sheltering inside for days afterwards, one describing life there as a sweltering cesspool of human misery. Outside, bodies floating in the water, people dying from thirst and exhaustion.
Go baby out here. They don't have no formula, no water, and they want us to survive out here. Where's FEMA? Where's the mayor?
Soon, law and order broke down. There was widespread looting. There was also intense criticism of the speed of the response, even allegations that race and class affected the decisions made. Many singled out President George W. Bush, criticised for initially just surveying the damage from the window of Air Force One.
This government will learn the lessons of Hurricane Katrina. We're going to review every action and make necessary changes so that we are better prepared for any challenge of nature or act of evil men that could threaten our people.
In the months and years that followed, it's been estimated that over 1 million people never went back to the coast. New Orleans itself continues to recover, and France 24's correspondents Dan de Saint-Hippolyte and Philip Crowther have been back to meet those still rebuilding their lives.
What you can imagine, it was houses, nothing but houses, nothing but trees and grass now. This was a busy neighborhood like the French Quarter almost, you know. Used to climb in that tree every day as a kid.
The lower 9th Ward hit so hard by the floodwaters is now an urban jungle.
Mass hysteria.
Wayne Harris spent the first 20 years of his life right here.
Man.
Many of his neighbours and friends died, their bodies found only weeks later.
I seen the water coming. You hear me? We heard the bus. And like me and my grandfather, we just look out the window. We see the water just strolling. It wasn't like a big-ass wave. It was just like, you know how water just slowly comes in and it slowly builds up. Man, I say that water rose up like this, kept on. About that fast. Like 30 lights there. I feel sad, to be honest with you, you know. I mean, I have dreams at night, you know, and it be like I'm sitting back on that porch where 21 years of my life I always knew. And so now just to come back and you see this gone, it just makes you, you know, kind of be sad, you know what I'm saying?
Whole neighbourhoods in New Orleans are no more. Houses abandoned and forgotten. Hurricane Katrina, that was over 8 years ago. Wayne Harris was evacuated to Texas. He only recently returned to rebuild in another part of town. He lives off his music and plays the sousaphone in the New Creations brass band.
It's like in that movie Princess and the Frog. When the prince first came to New Orleans, what he saw a brass band playing, you know. So like we just want to be a part of the tradition and keep it alive, and not to mention we want to be one of the biggest bands to ever touch this city as well. That's our dreams, and hopefully the Lord will help us fulfill our dreams as well. This place looking like World War III hit it. I mean, but the progress now that you see, especially in the business parts of the city, is really grown. And now they have plans on, 10-year plans to have this city within the next 10 years to be the new Hollywood.
Some houses, first ravaged by the floodwaters, then looted in those post-Katrina days, are only now being razed to the ground. One thing's for sure, and it'll take more than good intentions to change it. Large parts of New Orleans still lie below sea level, the other side of the levees. In 2005, 80% of the city was flooded. Back then, when armed police patrolled these lawless and abandoned waters, Horacio Conde stayed behind. He refused to leave his dogs and cats that weren't being evacuated.
Tommy, look at my dogs.
Horacio survived. We show him the footage of what he calls his darkest days. First he smiles, proud of how he beat the flood. But then the memories of the animals that didn't survive, the house he lost, the cancer he was being treated for at the time, his medicine, also swept away.
I make a lot of promise to God. If I survive this, I'm going to be a different person. I mean, I was ready to die. But now in that water, no way. I want to die with that filthy water. It was horrible.
Horacio says he has now become a better person post-Katrina. Who would have bet against a tragic end to this story? But there's a big silver lining. In order to build a new hospital, the debris of his destroyed house was bought up for good money.
This neighborhood is real quiet. You see, there's nobody here. They give me the cash money to pay for this house cash. I'm happy with what they did for me. I never was expecting anything like that. And so here I am on my new beautiful house, okay?
The cancer was beaten too. All bad memories now.
I'm on my feet again. It's like this. You go down, you go up, you know. So now I think, you know, that it's going to be like this forever now.
And the more that he lives, the less that he tries. Show me you love me by the look in your eyes. These are the little things she's supposed to realize. This hurt into me.
Every year, hurricane season brings renewed fears, which is why on the outskirts of town there are watchers to keep an eye on the enemy, the hurricane, 24/7 with weather balloons, radars and all other means at their disposal. Meteorologists scan the skies. There are hundreds of weather stations like this one scattered around the United States. The man who has just come in for the night shift is Robert Ricks.
Actually see when something is a threat on the radar, when it gets closer in, we could actually see the radar presentation of the
Ricks is the one who in 2005 wrote and sent out the message of impending doom, a highlight for a lifelong meteorologist.
This is Katrina at landfall from a radar presentation. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks, perhaps longer. Airborne debris will be widespread and may include heavy items such as household appliances and even light vehicles. Water shortages will make human suffering incredible by modern standards. We feel like the situation is now improved based on what has been done to at least safeguard against another Katrina or something less than Katrina. Now, we still feel like there's a big vulnerability for a Category 4, Category 5 type threat. There is this cost factor involved where, you know, to make it extremely safe for every eventuality is virtually impossible.
The year's hurricane season ended without major damage. That is good news, and New Orleans can rest assured and sleep tonight. But sleep isn't something that this city prides itself on. The other side of town, in the famous French Quarter, it's an all-night party. On Frenchman Street, Wayne and the New Creations Brass Band are on stage, part of New Orleans' intoxicating jazz scene. Wayne is the backbone of the band. The city prides itself on its musical heritage, but it isn't stuck in the past. New trends emerge here all the time, like New Orleans bounce, a style based on hip-hop, known for its very explicit dance moves. This is Encore nightclub in a tough part of town. MCing tonight is Sissy Nobi, one of the stars of New Orleans bounce.
For the old generation, we still got the jazz and the blues and all them type of genres, which I love also. But the new generation, my age or younger, we know more about the, about the bounce, about the bounce music and stuff. We're trying to make it more authentic for New Orleans. I feel like that's the reason why tourists come down now to hear bounce music. We got like 10 girls just bent over, shaking their ass, wobbling, twerking, doing, shaking, hustling. New Orleans, they want to hear that bounce, not that, I'm going to kill you. No, they don't want to hear that. That hip-hop rap and stuff. Oh, yeah. That's it.
There's a more somber side to the night here. The city leads the statistics nationwide in terms of urban and gang violence. The murder rate here is shocking. During our week of filming, there was a murder every day. There was an appeal by the police for witnesses as well for this murder in plain daylight. There are shrines to the dead throughout New Orleans, this one for a teenager. Since Katrina, the situation hasn't changed, and won't, it seems. New Orleans and gang violence go hand in hand. Tourism, music, violence. New Orleans has always been a city of contrasts. The city also moves to the rhythm of hammers and power drills. The land where this new university medical centre now stands, as well as houses like Horacio Conde's, was once flooded by stinking water.
It's progress. It's progress, It's great. It's great.
Nothing is left here. No homes, no shops,
That's what my house is.
no neighborhood.
Over there. This is great. This is so good for the city and for the people. It's real good, And like I said before, the progress is stopping on that bridge over there. You see all the hospitals out on the other side, the hotels and everything. So it was like that for years and years and years until this project here. So this is good. This is where the water used to be all over here. All the way.
On match day, when the Saints play at the Superdome, New Orleans unites. Football has been back at the stadium for a while now, but once there were 15,000 people stranded under its leaking roof. The Superdome was one of the first buildings to be renovated post-Katrina. And when the New Orleans Saints take on the San Francisco 49ers, everyone is watching. Horacio in his new home. Wayne with his children and friends, this time without their instruments. And meteorologist Robert Ricks, wearing his lucky Saints jersey. The Saints grab a last-minute win. New Orleans celebrates and parties on. The city has witnessed many victories and defeats in the years since Katrina. In the wind column, new pumping stations throughout the city. The new walls all along the canals rebuilt as high as they once were. A lesson learnt.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't think no Katrina gonna ever hit again, though. It was 25 years from Betsy, you know. If a category 5 actually hit here, or a 4, I think it's just gonna be over for it. It's gonna be done. That'd probably be too hard to rebuild again. But knowing the city, it'd probably bounce back again.
Those who have rebuilt their lives since and those who try to build a career here will have to put their trust in these walls. In the lower 9th Ward, there is some life amid the desolation. New homes come on stilts, just in case. And they also come with escape hatches to get out if the waters were to rise again.
The people of New Orleans rebuilding their lives after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. Well, that's this week's Revisited. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, of course, for more editions coming up.